Welcome back to another episode of the second episode of the Swift Social. Joined again with Rodney. Now, I don't want to say old man, but
older
50th. Happy belated birthday.
Thanks very much.
Afternoon after the night before, we've just beaten Coke United in the first round of the Ulster Cup. How did that go?
It went okay. I thought we were good in patches, but only patches. They're always difficult games to play in. We rotate the squad quite a bit. We give boys who needed minutes. We rested where we needed to. And thankfully we get the result. We keep another clean sheet, so it's 3 clean sheets in a row that we've kept. So it's just nice to progress and get into the next round.
Aidan Hegarty got his first senior hat-trick. He must have been proud of that too.
Yeah, I worked with that 2006 age group after I left Coleraine. I worked with them for about a season and a half or so. Got to 2 years. And I've seen them coming up the whole way up through. I know me and Sailor, the vice chairman, worked along with them whenever they were playing 7-a-side and 9-a-side at the Foyle Cup. So I have a good relationship with that group. I was delighted to see Aidan do well and score a hat-trick. He's more than capable. Mm-hmm. Strong, talented little boy. Needs to push himself a wee bit more, but we're constantly pushing him too.
He can obviously learn from you. Going back to your youth days, talk us through, how did the move to Liverpool Academy come about?
I'll tell you a story about us knocking on his door and asking about trying to get a team together here whenever I think I was maybe about 9. So we got a game against Armagh City, Armagh Boys Club I think it was. We played out here in Stangmore. We got to gather up the boys out of the town and out of the village, and we went about our business. That was whenever it started. It was my dad and Davy Gallagher were the manager and coach. We trained where CR Print is at this moment in time. There was a grey pitch down there.
I remember that. Many's a graze knee in that, I imagine.
Many a graze knee, yeah. You were very fortunate to have 2 balls. It was old
jumpers for goalposts, was it?
Well, it just wasn't that bad. It just wasn't that bad. But it was great memories and great times, because at that stage everybody probably aspired to be a full-time footballer, and you asked every kid now who's playing football what do you want to be whenever you grow up, the majority will tell you that they want to be a footballer. So from that then I progressed. I got numerous trials here, there and everywhere. One of the first clubs that I went to quite a bit was Norwich, which I really enjoyed. I loved Norwich, and I loved going back and forth to there. Some say I should have maybe focused on staying at Norwich instead of going to the dizzy heights of Liverpool, but I was always a Liverpool fan, so whenever
that's always going to sway you a wee bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and whenever you were going back and forth, and you were training at Melwood at the time, and you trained along with all the superstars from the past. They were training on the pitch right beside you, so you sort of had not that you knew them, but you felt as if you did. You were starstruck at times, yeah. So whenever Liverpool asked me to sign, I just thought, well, it's the one that I want to go to. Yeah. It's the place I want to go to, and I thought it was the best for me at that stage too. And I had 4 great years at Liverpool.
Did you find it hard going over at such a young age?
I left home at 15 years of age. Like I laugh, or I don't laugh, but nobody's allowed to travel anywhere now at a young age, and I was jumping on flights at 13 years of age and getting off at Heathrow and looking for somebody with a board with my name up.
Did that not make you feel special, just seeing your name on a board? Think, I could get used to this stuff here.
At least it was the right person who was holding the board.
Well,
it could have been anybody. But there was no mobile phones or nothing, so Mum and Dad were probably sitting at home waiting for me to get till digs or hotel or wherever I was staying to get a call box and put 10p in the phone box to tell them, right, I'm safe, I'm okay, I've arrived. So it was an experience. But I didn't know any different, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was the way it was then, and I was happy to go along with it. Mum and Dad probably were. They seemed happy enough to throw me in a plane, not knowing who was picking me up.
Peace for them too. But obviously, you mentioned your dad quite a bit there. He was obviously a massive influence on your football and all of your footballing career.
Whenever I was young, whenever I was growing up, Dad was the manager of the first team here, and he was also the manager of the social club. So while Dad was down here cleaning the social club, I was probably out on the pitch playing football, kicking ball in the function room, or playing pool in the function room. So I've grown up here. I grew up around the club, and it's all I've ever really known. I suppose we've all been a football family. Like my brother Keith in Australia is a big Liverpool fan. Did play a little bit.
Brother-in-law Jay too.
Jay is a football man too. Yeah, my sister and my mum are dedicated football fans as well. So there was never any getting away from it, to be honest. So you were sort of born into it, and it was always the route that if you had anything about you, or I had a wee bit about me, so it was always the route that I was going to go.
Moving on from Liverpool, you spent 4 years there. Off to Bristol City after that.
Yeah, well, obviously my contract ran out at Liverpool, and it was tough conversation, but it was tough to be told that you had no future at Liverpool, and they were going to release you.
Did that feel as if, right, I've not made it, I'm not going to make it, or did you definitely push a wee bit more?
I always had confidence, always a belief that I could do something. I was disappointed to have to leave Liverpool. I was probably disappointed in the manner that it was done as well, because there was 4 or 5 of us brought into the room at the same time, and we were all told at the same time. And now whenever I'm in the management capacity or coaching capacity, you feel as if a personal touch is a little bit better in terms of how it was dealt with at that time. But it happened. I remember getting on a boat to come home with my wee Vauxhall Nova at the time, and I remember standing on the top of the boat just watching Liverpool disappear, and it was emotional, it was tough, but it was about coming home and then focusing on trying to get something to go to next. Thankfully I got an opportunity to go over till Bristol City. Russell Osman was the manager at that time. I went over for a week to have a look at them. They were having a look at me, and I'd done really well. And thankfully, I got a 2-year deal there. Started the season in what would be the Championship now. We're home till Sunderland, so I made my debut on that in front of a decent crowd. Bristol City are a well supported club. And done well in the early stages, but unfortunately Russell's time run out, and he got moved on, and a new manager come in, and all of a sudden some people's face doesn't fit, and I was one of those that didn't fit the new manager's plans. That was Joe Jordan. So he was a hard man to work under. Like, he was disciplined. He was very good at what he done. I have no problem whenever I look back on it. Probably at the time you're sort of thinking, he's maybe being a wee bit hard on me, but I could have done more for myself at that stage too. But it was an experience, because you were at Bristol City in a short space of time. You were working for Russell Osman, and who was a England legend, Ipswich legend, starting to escape the victory and everything, and then your next manager is Joe Jordan, who played for AC Milan and Man United, and so
he was always Harry Redknapp's hard man, wasn't he?
Oh, he was a tough man. If Joe Jordan told you to do something, you done it. You didn't argue with him.
That must be a Joe thing, is it?
Quite possibly.
Bristol City, 2 years there. Fulham, where, if I'm right in saying, you have a chant named after you. Or a song.
I'm told to still sing it. I haven't been over for a few years. The last time I was over was probably 2015, 2016. But Fulham was a great time. Whereas now you had experienced the highs of being in around Liverpool and seeing the superstars that were at Liverpool, and all of a sudden then I was at Fulham, and whenever I joined Fulham, they were maybe second bottom of the old third division, which is the second division now, League 2 now. So they were in deficit at that stage. We managed to survive the year I arrived. I arrived in January. We managed to survive, and then the following season, Mickey Adams and Alan Cork guided us till promotion. And
how did that promotion come about?
Funny, my dad and Dixie were travelling from the Preston Cup or the Blackpool Cup, one of the two, and they were actually coming back up the motorway. I was coming back from an injury, a long-term injury, and wasn't sure whether I would play. I thought I would have been on the bench, but they were coming back up on the bus, but they were driving past Carlisle, and obviously Mickey Adams had given me the nod and brought me into the team and started me. Showed a wee bit of faith in me, and I managed to score the second goal, which put us 2-1 up away to Carlisle, who we were fighting for promotion with. So I put us 2-1 up, and we won 2-1. And virtually secured promotion. All we needed was all barring goal difference at that time, but we were more or less up at that stage.
You just said it was a goal. Was it not like a sweet head volley outside the box?
It was a decent. It was a decent. It was one of my better ones. Well, it wasn't that too. There wasn't too many of them, but it was as good a strike as I've had, to be honest. And it's a great memory, memory.
After that, a couple of spells at different clubs, and then back home, we'll say. But back home to Glenavon.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Terry McAree fell out with me for that.
I'd say a lot of people fell out with me with that.
I came home. I think Dungannon Swiss were in the first division at that stage. Glenavon were in the Premiership. Collie Malone come and asked me to go down to Glenavon and play. Dixie was first team coach at Glenavon at that time too. He had bolted in Dungannon Swifts as well, but nobody ever gives him a stick.
It must be the name. It has to be the McAree name. Like.
So I went to Glenavon, and so I had a year and a half at Glenavon. I'd probably at that stage in my life and the way I was in my personal life and stuff, it probably didn't make it easy for me, but I maybe didn't play as well as what I did. But we competed in, or what I could. We competed in the UEFA Cup. We qualified. We finished second in the league. It looked like we could win it at one stage. We got the semi-final of both cups. So we had a real good season at Glenavon. But unfortunately, then my dad took over back here, and he had asked me would I come back and give him a hand. And that was the year before, I think, whenever we gained promotion from the first division to the Premiership.
And obviously stayed there since.
Stayed there since, yeah.
Looking back on your playing career, what would be the proudest moment in a Swift shirt? Would it be the cup final? Getting to the cup final and captaining the team to the cup final?
I love the promotion from Division 1 till the Premiership, and I think whenever you look at it now, I think that was the start of it. That's where our long run in the Premiership has come from. We done ever so well. We beat Ballymena, who had a better budget than us at that stage. We finished above them to win the first division to get into the Premiership. So that has a special place. Leading the team out in an Irish Cup final, scoring in an Irish Cup final was fantastic, but ultimately you get beaten penalty kicks after Linfield missed their first two.
I know.
So that was a great experience, but it was a fantastic experience as well.
Would you say your time here would be your best playing time, or over the water?
Playing wise, playing for Dungannon Swifts is something that always meant something to me. Really meant something to me. I'm always been competitive. I've always been argumentative. But I've probably been more argumentative playing here than I was anywhere else, because this probably means more to me. But like the experience of being at Liverpool, and you had the odd Monday session where the first team weren't in, but the squad players that weren't involved would have trained with you. Yeah. And you would have had a staff match with Kenny Dalglish and Steve Highway, and
like even you saying that, I'm just like that's every child's dream. Is now Jurgen Klopp has left now, so say Arne Slot and his team, you're playing against them. Like that's just and those games could have been 15 aside, and they could have went on for an hour and 45 minutes until Kenny's team scored and took the lead. Until they won. Next goal wins kind of stuff.
They were always very competitive. If you found yourself in the staff team, you had to work extremely hard. But
were you in the staff team?
Yeah, quite often. Quite often. Everybody sort of shied away and looked the opposite direction whenever they handed out the bibs. But you often found yourself in the staff team, and then you had to work doubly as hard. Yeah.
No, and then you moved on to playing careers, finished now into management. Was that always something you wanted to do?
I think so. Towards the end of my career, whenever I come back from England, I went straight on to my B licence down at Newfords. I'd done my B licence, and I followed it up quite quickly with my A licence. So it was always something that I wanted to have in place whenever I was going to finish playing. Obviously, as I said earlier, I've known nothing different. Yeah. So
football has been your life.
I left school halfway through fourth year to go to Liverpool. So I've never sat an exam in my life.
Apart from in your B licence, you don't have to do exams in the B licence.
You have to be assessed.
Oh, right,
you have to be assessed on the pitch more so than off the pitch. So. So I've never sat an exam, so as I say, football's just all I've ever known, and thankfully it's got me to 50, and hopefully it maybe gets me a few more years.
Well, fingers crossed, more than a few years. You started your managerial career with the Swifts, obviously, and then you moved on to Coleraine and England touring, and now you're back. From what you have played under all the managers, have you taken little bits and pieces from them?
Absolutely. I think you take the good bits and the bad bits. I think you learn from experience as well, in terms of seeing how players treated, and then you have to weigh up whether you feel that's the right thing or the wrong thing. I feel as if I've took a lot of good things. I've took a lot of traits after my dad, probably.
Yeah.
In terms of going nuts at half time in the changing room.
Do you ever throw a boot like Fergie did?
I
supposedly did.
On Saturday past at Lockgall, I give the ice bucket a wee bit of a boot at one stage. It took a bit of a thump, so the physio was looking me to replace it, but it hasn't been replaced as yet. No, I've took you take little bits and pieces out of the experience that you've gained over the years. Like obviously, even at Steve Highway was my first manager whenever I went to Liverpool, and you have Mickey Adams, you have Russell Osman, you have Joe Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of good names in there. There's a lot of good people in there as well. Obviously Graham Souness was at Liverpool for stage 2, so you've seen how he managed at a much higher level than what I ever reached.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen how Kenny done it at a much higher level. So I try to think I try to see myself as being fair, honest.
Yeah.
I don't like being dishonest, because dishonesty will always come back on you at some stage, and it'll always give a player an opportunity to point the finger and say, well, that's not what you had said. So I try to be as honest as I possibly can.
I always find, as you said, you give the ice bucket a bit of a touch there at the Lockgall game. Do you not find that just shows that you care that wee bit more, and the players might see that, or they're like, oh no, I can't step out of line here, like we need to step the game up, kind of thing?
I think it's just passion from my point of view. You know, it doesn't do me toes any good, to be honest. There was a wee bit of throbbing going on.
That'll
after
be your 51st birthday present, steel toe boots.
But okay, it's just passion. I think all the players and all the staff and everybody that's working for Dungannon Swifts at this moment in time understand how much it means to me and the people who I have immediately beside me. I think that's important for a club like Dungannon Swifts. Without being disrespectful, I think we've went in the past, over a number of years, we've maybe went down the road of bringing somebody in from the outside who doesn't know the club as much, but it hasn't worked out overly favourable for them. So for me, Dungannon Swifts is a club that I think it always needs a little bit of a personal touch, and needs somebody who knows the ins and outs of it. You
would know the majority of, well, obviously you know all of the players, but we're talking about Aidan Hegarty at the very start of the show there. You would know a lot of the ones coming up through DUI, because obviously you're still involved there. Does that mean a lot for you to be able to give them their debuts?
Yeah, like last night we were able to bring Ollie Crowe onto the pitch, and Ollie was another one of those 2006 players that have come through the system. He's been here for a long time. We gave other debuts last night to Tommy Connolly and Lewis Burns, and it's great to see Danny Wallace obviously gets it. He's at the other end of the spectrum. But it's great to see the kids coming through. Like myself and Dixie probably challenge yourself to know every player that's coming through Dungannon United Youth by name, know what they're about, know who they are, and especially now at Dungannon Swifts, we, with our under 14s, 15s, 16s, 18s, 2-18s teams and our 20s, we try to know everybody who's within our system, and we want them to know us too, so that whenever we meet them, it's a friendly environment, and they want to have a conversation.
But that makes them feel welcome. That makes them want to play here. That makes them want to try their hardest, because they see a manager and obviously your coaching staff and your assistant and stuff showing them that you're welcome here. Oh, I want to succeed here.
Well, I think they're the most important people at this club, because obviously whenever our budget's maybe not as big as everybody else's, we need to make sure that we're holding on to our best players, because at some stage we're going to need our best players coming through. So we want to, I think it's a challenge as well, that we want to try and produce as many players as we possibly can. Ideally, and the priority is, can we get kids across to England? Can we get them a professional contract? If we can't,
give them the best opportunity that they can give themselves.
Yeah, if we can't do that, what we want to do is we want to progress them through the ranks, come through the 18s, the 20s into the first team, bypass teams if you're that good, and give them the opportunity at first team level. Our only downside at this moment in time is you're always likely to lose your best players, because the bigger teams and the clubs that'll offer them more money will always come knocking at some stage. So we know that at some stage we're going to lose them, but I think it's important for kids as well to realise that there's a good time to leave Dungannon Swifts and a bad time to leave Dungannon Swifts, and why not stay here, make yourself a name for yourself within the league at Dungannon Swifts, and then move on. without thinking about doing it at an earlier age of 15, 16 years of age. It doesn't make sense.
You were talking about players moving over the water, and that's what your ultimate goal is here at Dungannon Swifts, is trying to make players the best they can be. O'Shane Smith is a prime example of the one that stays a wee bit longer and then goes obviously a little bit older. Connor Bradley is another exception where he's going at 16. It doesn't matter what age you are.
No,
you're still going to be noticed.
Yeah, and I think Connor's family made a fantastic decision whenever ultimately we wanted Connor to come to Dungannon United Youth at an earlier age. But whenever we did get him here, they weren't being sidetracked with going elsewhere within the country.
Yeah.
They knew he was at a good place, and wherever he was going to get to, he was going to get to. So they were content with that. The like of O'Shane, who maybe didn't get that opportunity, and you can't blame somebody for going to Liverpool whenever they're 16, 17 years of age.
You're a prime example.
Yeah, but the like of O'Shane probably goes through the system of making a name for himself within the league and then getting that opportunity, and I think that's a good pathway for players to take too. Like, you look at the success stories of Stuart Dallas and Niall McGinn, both who have been at Dungannon as well. You look at the success stories of them going on and having the career that they have had. So it's Terry Devlin's another one who has come through the system here. I do believe there's going to be an opportunity maybe for Ethan McGee if he keeps doing what he's doing, and I would love to see that also. Not that Linfield want to lose him, but he's a fantastic lad and with great attitude, and I know he has aspirations that he wants to go on to full-time football across the world.
Bigger, better things. No, good. In your playing career, I hate to keep going back on myself here. In your playing career, do you feel as if you have any regrets?
I wish I had the attitude of an Ethan McGee or a Terry Devlin, and a work ethic of those two boys. I had a lot of natural ability, but I probably didn't have the drive and the determination as such to recognise the opportunity that I had. And the opportunity that you'll only ever have once. So I probably have a regret in terms of I should have focused more, should have committed more, and I should have dedicated myself more to football instead of outside life and enjoying myself. As always, looking forward to the weekend to see what we were doing. But those days can come at a later stage in your life. I should have knuckled down and worked much harder. And I've probably realised that as a player, which has made me probably a little bit more focused and driven and committed as a coach or a manager.
Yeah. No, I was about to say that. Do you feel as if what you're saying there is giving you that wee bit more, right, I'm gonna knuckle down a wee bit more as a manager kind of thing? Yeah,
absolutely. I think as you go back to playing for managers and taking good things and bad things, I think you have to look at your own career, and I think the biggest thing that you have to be is you have to be honest with yourself, and if you feel as if you could have done more, then you have to identify that and you have to correct it, and I feel as if I've done that as a coach and a manager. I still don't think I'm by no means the finished article as a coach or a manager, but I'm certainly trying to be the best version of myself at this moment in time as a coach or a manager.
And that will reflect on your players as well.
Yeah, we've a great changing room, we've a fantastic changing room at the moment. It's probably one of the best changing rooms I've been in. I feel as if we're improving. I feel as if each window has passed by, we've got stronger as a squad.
Losing only a certain amount of players is key as well. So you've got a core group here that's been here for a while now.
Like, even think since I've come back into the club, we've lost Corey Smith, we've lost Ethan McGee, we've lost Rhys Campbell. Yep. So you're probably three big hitters there in terms of Corey has a big future in front of him, hopefully. But the other two guys were proven superstars for Dungannon Swifts, so to lose those and still try and progress and develop and get better is difficult, but I think it's something that we have achieved.
Managerial career, I'm actually looking at a picture over your shoulder here of the Bet McLean League Cup. Do you think that would be your proudest moment as a manager so far?
Absolutely, yeah. For Dungannon Swifts by a mile, from a management point of view, from being involved as a manager, definitely. It was a fantastic experience. I just wish it was the Irish Cup. But we can't be too critical. It was great to win a senior trophy, the first senior trophy that the club have won. So let's hope that we have another night like that further down the line, and who knows, if we won the Irish Cup, it would be a fantastic achievement. I don't think it's excuse me, I don't think it's beyond our our grasp, to be honest. I think we have a good squad of players, and if we get the right draw and we get a little bit of luck along the way, you never know.
You never know what happens in the cup. It's also, as you say, like Dungannon has nearly always punched above their weight every season. Like, what do you think that comes down to? Do you think it comes down to the fact that the players are showing that wee bit more passion, that they're playing for somebody who is willing to put the effort into them?
I think it comes down to a couple of things. I think it comes down to a proven youth development system that we have here as well, that we're going to try and progress kids through, and we do develop good kids, and we do get good players through into the first team. But then it comes down to recruitment, I suppose, as well, and it's about identifying the right person with the right character, with the right temperament, and the right capabilities that are going to come in and add to the group that we have. So, like I worked with Keelan Dillon, for instance, as an example. I worked with him once for about 4 or 5 months at one point, and he was somebody that stuck in my head for a long time, in terms of if I ever got the opportunity to work with him again, it would be something I'd look forward to, because I know what he's like as a person. I know what his attitude's like. I know how driven he is as well, and he's enjoyed his football since he's come up here as well. So it's about recruiting and developing, and as long as we keep doing that, hopefully we'll be alright.
It's not about just the right person on the pitch; it's the right person off the pitch as well.
Yeah, it's the right person to put. Listen, if you put a rotten apple into the changing room, very very quickly the whole changing room will be rotten. So we have to make sure that we don't go down that route. I don't believe we have any rotten apples at this moment in time. I believe we have everybody singing off the same hymn sheet, and we're all trying to push and pull in the same direction. And
that'll really bode well for the upcoming season.
Hopefully.
Rodney, thank you so much for joining me again. Happy birthday as well.
Thanks, Charlie.
And good luck for the rest of the season.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, John. And yeah, welcome to Dungannon. How are you settling in?
Yeah, good. Love it so far. Really, really enjoying it. Obviously, I struggled a wee bit with injury and stuff at the minute, but fingers crossed you're back for this weekend.
Speaking of injuries, last year you had a bit of a rough one.
Yeah.
How did you keep motivation to get back playing?
More or less, I just decided I need to get back to the level that I was at, and like I remember watching loads and loads of videos when I was injured of any sort of football.
Yeah.
I watched my own games back, I watched other games back, I was going in watching Cornbean, local games. I just sort of love watching football, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna sit and be out for a full year or another full season and not be back playing. So that was a lot of motivation for me to get back.
You were very early back from that injury. Explain to us what happened and how did you get injured?
So basically, it was in a split game against Carrick. I had a complete syndesmosis rupture, deltoid rupture, partial AFTL rupture.
Sounds
basically
very pleasant.
Destroyed a lot of my ankle, but yeah, it happened not April past, but the April before, and that was back in around October time. I was told full 9 months until I'd be back fully playing, and I worked really, really hard, both mentally and physically, to try and get back earlier. And then obviously I struggled with a wee bit of hamstring problem in around then, but apart from that, ankle has been 100%.
I would probably take a niggle and a hamstring over what you had on your ankle there any day of the week. Coming here up from Newry, obviously you spent 5 years at Newry. You spent pretty much your whole professional career there. What differences are here compared to what Newry were doing?
I think up here, listen, I love Newry. I had a great time at it.
You're local to Newry too, so
progressed so well throughout Newry. I think here, especially with Rod being here, I know he tried to sign me when he was at a different club, and for me that was a massive thing. Manager that wants you, and
it does make such a difference.
He was keeping tabs on me, so Rod being here was a massive help. And you can see the style of the play. Like, we play really good football. It gives me as forward, because we play such good football. We always have the ball. It means you're going to get more chances, and gives me more chances to score goals and do what I can sort of do best.
It has been a tough start of the season. Our first 3 games were against teams in the top half. Come away to the point, and very unlucky, I believe, against Cliftonville, and apart from an 8-minute spell against Linfield, it was we matched them fairly well in the second half. Like, is that what you're aiming to do this year?
Yeah, I think with the squad of players we have and our style of play, we're not really scared of any team in the Premiership. And I know the Linfield result didn't look great, but them 3 goals, as you say, it was 8 minutes of madness. And other than that, throughout that game, I think we played really well. We probably didn't take our chances, but we played really good football. And I think that has been key for us and the way we play. That we're going to create chances, we're going to break teams down, and I think that's one real positive to the start of the season. Anyway,
you had a very busy summer, with County Down, obviously. I remember we were playing. I think your teammates were playing at home park against Armagh in a pre-season friendly. And where were you that day?
Playing the Tailteann Cup
in Grove Park.
Yeah.
Describe that.
Yeah, listen, the atmosphere is unbelievable. It's the hub for the GAA in Ireland, like, and there's no other experience like it. I know I've been close when I was in Northern Ireland and stuff. It was really great atmosphere, but playing in front of that many people, especially before a game like Rodney McAree, was unbelievable.
You have followed in the footsteps of a couple of let's say All Ireland winners in Niall Morgan and the Armagh captain, who have completely forgotten, Aidan Forker. Yes, sorry, Aidan, about that. Having that medal in your room, let's say, you're looking at us and say, that actually happened?
Yeah, I know. It was the thing, I didn't really get time to digest it. I sort of went straight from the end of the Gaelic season. I think we won it on the Saturday. I was off the Sunday, Monday, and then I was back in with Dungannon on Tuesday, so I didn't really get a break between.
And then you were here playing, I think it was the fun weekend was here, and you had the 2 games. So that was your first appearance in a Swift shirt that day? That's mad.
1 week later,
You're mad. But here, I suppose you kept your fitness levels up as well.
Yeah.
Like, you were coming in, you were raring to go.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I came in, the down campaign kept me really, really fit. It was tough condition, but coming into a soccer season, knowing that you don't need to sort of catch up on people where you have been fit throughout the year, I think that was the main thing. I just wanted to get going again.
The commitment levels to, obviously, your Gaelic club are quite a lot. How would they compare to, say, the Swifts and when you're playing Gaelic? The commitment levels, are they around the same or different? Or?
As in club or for county?
Either or.
Club commitment would be similar in terms of Dungannon as well, and then county you probably have an extra S&C session and maybe an analysis and stuff like that. There's a wee bit more in the county setup rather than here, but both really high-end professional standards.
Yeah, so you're taking a wee bit of a chill here compared to what you're doing.
I wouldn't say chill, but
Rodney wouldn't let you be chill. Like. Looking forward to this season. Like, you obviously have personal aims, but we'll not get into those because you might jinx yourself or whatever. Team goals, we finished 8th last season. Very unlucky to not be 7th. I think we finished behind Carrick in goal difference.
Yeah.
Do you feel as if we can push on to get that 7th place to European football?
Yeah, 100%. That was one of the main things whenever Rodney brought me in. He said we've a really good squad here and if you can add to it. And that was one of the aims when we were talking. I was like, sort of want to progress and get on. I've seen the way they've started to play over the past while when Rodney's come in. And listen, I've been down here when we played against them for Newry and the style of play was unreal. And that's the main thing, especially in the Premiership. Like, if you can hold on to the ball and the other team doesn't have it, you're going to do well.
You're always going to create chances.
So that was one thing, yeah.
Speaking on the move, did you speak to Terry O'Sheen? Did you have a wee conversation with them to see what it was like up here?
Yeah, of course. I was always keep in touch with Terry. I'd be really good mates with Terry. And him and Rod were sort of bouncing off each other, yeah.
So agent Terry Devlin we're talking about,
Terry,
no bother, Terry, you're not getting commission for this, don't worry. He's flying in Portsmouth at the moment, isn't he?
Unbelievable, absolute top lad.
Will you go over to it?
I'd love to get over, yeah. That's the thing, I support Arsenal as well, and people are like, oh, you not get over to the games, and I'm like, I have a game at 12 o'clock every Saturday.
People don't realise that, like, but no, here, thanks for joining us, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers,
thank you very much, John.
Thanks for having me.